A lot of God can happen in 3 seconds. Not much heaven though. Here's a man before a fight. A leave me alone type character. Emerging from the penniless death of a one-way street fiction. Fancy way of saying I'm gonna make it even if I have to drive backwards. All I have is chord changes and 1,000 backhands. Driving the street like I'm choking it. Car full of nephews, hasn't been a son since November, and there hasn't been a street I can't choke to death. This city better back down. You see this gun on the table? There's something about staring until it all feels stable. Why wouldn't I protect everyone on my death sleep late? My son better be quick. My daughter better shoot first, because we fold for no one. We fold for nothing. Okay, the first thing you'll feel is a heat. It's like it would tell me, trying to tell me about possession. Drink like meat is what I mostly hear. Most of the world leaves me alone. To breathe small like a giant, to go to jail every once in a while when the genocide kicks up in late May. When politicians have too easy a time, I'm guessing backwards out a one-way street in honor of myself and in honor of you, if you understand the nature of the world. And how long I've been just like my father? Well, hell of a resemblance says the anxiety of the neighborhood. This is a crossroads or a crossroads narrative. With so much crossroads, people get in the habit of turning back. Turn back only to find themselves remembering me, but not my last words of man before a fight. You feel the heat. There's nothing to keep in mind, there's nothing to remember, really there's nothing to be. It's just this moment, then another, then stare, then it all becomes stable, then the table lets go fuzzy, and Friday's an unfamiliar face peeking in the window. It's cool to panic for a second, composure is wasted on your worst enemies. People are marked on that sidewalk, you the only thing life size. Everybody knows this in the wire hanger empire. When the blood stops walking, that feeling isn't father enough to be permission to fold. You better swing one more time. You know that father yours rose from the grave and said, just give me 5 more minutes. He said running water is a myth. It's us who are running up, down, and all alongside this water. And people don't rise from the grave. They're not laid down neither. It's us who flip all around their body. So beware when the people around you all look like they're about to jump. It might be your time. You'll feel the heat. And when 4 walls demand to be 4 walls and the earth outside means, don't panic. Don't try to recreate the earth outside. Don't tell jokes to yourself. Don't even talk disrespectfully to the 4 walls. Instead, unclench your fists and walk away. There might be heaven, if you understand the nature of the world. Man, these little capitalists, they eat until the world is blurry to them. These streets are made of saliva, and some people made of saliva too. They usually got on uniforms, while a crazy man spins round and round trying to make a record out of this mass production jungle. Maybe I'll twin them, count, catch, and cry. These streets are made of saliva, and white sheets are worn by a building in which kids are supposed to learn how to read well. White sheets on the highway too. Another mirror needs their head on a pipe. One down is just one down, but you know you tell all this to the masses and your teacher will pipeline you. They told me I was jewelry. They told me this is jungle. Well, maybe not jungle, more like 50 machine guns planted in the ground. It's raining face again in California. What does it say about heaven? What does it say about the people you killed? Waiting lines got so exhausted, a million minds dropped all these faces at once. If the fastest can read the lips of a giant talking in his sleep, we might as well make our demands in prison letters. Today was born the most important trigger finger in the world. Today I begun to count down the pages between now and a pile of books by a tunnel. Chicago is going to walk out of Chicago one day. Babies will drag street signs like old toys. Today the most important letter left prison. Babies will laugh at flags like faces that have disappeared. Maybe I'll join them. But for now, these streets are made of saliva, and we raise half-full glasses to the basements that make nothing, and the working poor who live there. We get shot, we get white sheets on California where the kitchen table like to talk as much as the walls, and romance on the porch consists of hard residing. I mean, in this picture, characters talk spit and know that they hard to kill. The kitchen table knows this, the porch is almost convinced that one down is just one down. This town is coming to town. A circus watching itself, half distracted, half suicidal, thrilled children dressed as cops. Thrilled children preaching and policing and then taking and hiring and snatching your money. This town's coming to town with tough trademarks to follow. Today I watch capitalism walk on water and people play dead so that they can be part of a miracle. I go to the railroad tracks and follow them to the station of my enemies. A cobalt-toothed man pitches pennies at my mugshot negative. All over the United States there are toddlers in the rock. I see why everyone out here got in a big cosmic basket and why blood agreements mean a lie and why I get shot back at. I understand the psycho-spiritual refusal to write why history will take the glass freeway. White skin tattooed on my right forearm, ricochet sewage near where I collapsed into a rat-infested manhood. My new existence is living graffiti. In the kitchen with a lot of gun cylinders to hack up. House of God in part, no cops in part. My body brings down the Christmas. The bullets playing with blankets made from the old bullets. Pray over the 20 $28 next beauty mark, extrajudicial Confederate statue restoration, the wait pen before the next protest poster. Hey, by the way, time is not an illusion, Your Honor. I will save your deaths for last. You were with it, Your Honor. You're moving money again, Your Honor. It's only raining one thing. 9 white cops and prison guard shadows reminded me of spoiled milk floating on the oil spill. The neighborhood making a lot of fuss over his demise. A new lake for a Black Panther party. Malcolm X's ballroom jacket slung over my son's shoulder in the Figment village. A new news to a new white preacher, all in an abstract painting for president. Bought slavery some time, didn't it? Pretentious screeches of military bolts and election Tuesday cars, a cold-blooded study in leg irons proof that some white people have actually found no nooses. And sundown couples made their vows of love over opaque piece plastic and vote action offices. Every second is definitely my favorite law of science. Fondle news clippings and primitive Methodists, my arm chains imperialisms, simple policing versus structural frenzies, elementary school script versus even wider white spectrums, artless bleeding in the challenge of watching civilians think. Terrible rituals they have around the corner. They let their elders beg for public mercy. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen these kids' heads in the arrows myself and see how much gravy spills out of family crest. Modern fans of war with their t-shirt poems and t-shirt guilt, and me having on the cheapest pair of shoes on the bus. I had no choice but to read the city walls for signs of my life. These societies wander together like hopeful drops of a virus. Citizen testaments bent don't offer me a nation of breadwinners to hold me back like it's a prince. I wrinkle the concrete sometimes like flesh. My Martin Luther King permanence turned away from Napoleon into the reeds like God is a dangerous twin. Black August to the mountaintop balcony on my bedroom floor. You know they steal you from the earth itself and suspend you in your broken neck from their foolish euphoria, from the loyalty of their great superstitions, loyalty of their creative reform. I return to my mother completely disrespected. For peeling the meat off of purgatory, they kill poets like me. Walk me away from my poems, never to be heard from again. In this final industrial complex of bloodlines, picked over those points, picture decades. Police become a pretty word, man. I'm reading a lynch mob shoestrings like they were tea leaves, teaching you how to write about cities. It's the 25th century in America. People telling me against your chump change. You a chump to be mocked even with a gun in your car. Accused of leader work spelled tone for the proletariat, the relapse ministry. Talented people curled up in a fetal position next to a dime and dying. Just another service day in the theatrics of tea house fascism. A bouquet of surveillance cameras in the property of God. New blue eyes, courses of water. A newly potted presidency of one big shiny coin, if you ask an animated capitalism and other non-literal voice. Killing his white freedom. The deification of hyphens. Medicine bread and picture shows. Great protesters in LA. Guess of our ink. Job kicking roads in the graveyard. DC mix like a stone torn in half. The pin advances. Despite CIA guideposts. Despite non-African passive futures. A metaphorical but not so real day in a horn-ridden life. Horn player improvising king. Like a radio prize fight featuring Shango himself. A real hand sweep the land of racism. Now return to the ground. Now make progress with the gun. On our mother Emmanuel, they put on music that evening. A swinging type body language. For you to drink with fermented $5 bills. For your body language, some applause. My past stomach line ain't neither a good thing nor a bad thing, like being psychic on the way to a lethal injection. It'll sit you down with Lady Day. Lady Day leading youth who surrendered their souls to Africa too soon. Polly thought floating in the cup of water she saved me, accessing my stomach, accessing the love of the American lynched. Cold sleeves, wood and avalanche into the wrist. Our mother Emmanuel, avalanche to the sharp keys, pain. The deal you make with pain, the piano makes sense for them. Laying hands on the world gradually, addressing the bend and necks on the streets of the north. Traveling sailing in pain, repeated pain in the north. 10 trigger fingers on that piano, if harmony would have me, putting 100 fights on every direction offered a Lady Day. Leaning on trees again, recruiting the countryside itself, saying, baby, plan on this lightning. Make your pawns a corner pocket of men. I greeted the blues itself. America may clean my dead body, but will never include me. There goes the poet. Killing without killing. Never mind this painting of your language. May I be a meaningful lynching. A crow's passing. Good and dead by the afternoon.